So, you're looking for some amazing tips and tricks for 3D printing, right? Well, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're totally bypassing the usual trial and error and diving straight into the expert secrets that'll instantly level up your printing game. We're talking everything from saving doomed prints to sneaky slicer hacks and even mastering those advanced materials. Let's not waste a single second and just jump right in.
Okay, tell me if this sounds familiar. Are you tired of waking up to a plastic spaghetti monster? Yeah, we've literally all been there. You set up this massive, 15-hour print, go to sleep dreaming about your awesome finished project, and then bam, you wake up to a tangled, stringy nightmare of wasted plastic. It's pretty much a rite of passage in the 3D printing community. But in today's explainer, we're packing in some highly actionable solutions to conquer these headaches once and for all.
Because, honestly, the golden rule of this whole hobby really boils down to this. Good bed adhesion is everything. If you have poor print bed adhesion, it's all going to end in spaghetti. I mean, it doesn't get more real than that. The absolute reality here is that your very first layer makes or breaks the entire project. If that foundation doesn't stick properly, forget it. All the fancy, advanced settings in the world aren't going to save you.
So let's get into Section 1, Perfecting the First Layer and Foundation. Before we even think about complex geometries, we've got to get that build bed prepped and optimize those raw materials.
Now here's a massive frustration saver for you. Sometimes your bed adhesion is actually kinda too good, especially when you're printing flexible stuff like TPU on a standard PEI plate. It bonds so tightly it feels like you're gonna rip the coating right off the bed. But hey, instead of aggressively scraping and basically ruining your gear, try this little trick. Just drizzle a tiny bit of isopropyl alcohol right around the edges of the print. That liquid naturally works its way under those microscopic gaps, and I kid you not, the part will literally just pop off with zero damage. It's a total game changer.
All right, moving on, we need to talk about your filament's absolute worst enemy, humidity. You'll hear the word hygroscopic tossed around a lot. That just refers to a material's natural tendency to absorb moisture directly out of the air. While your standard PLA is, somewhat forgiving, advanced materials like PETG, nylon, and TPU, highly hygroscopic. They absolutely love water. If you leave them sitting out in the open, they will soak up that ambient moisture like a sponge, which completely messes with how the plastic melts.
And the difference? It is literal night and day. When you print with wet filament, the heat actually boils the water trapped inside the nozzle. You'll literally hear these little popping noises. Plus, you get terrible stringing, failed adhesion, and just incredibly weak parts. But dry filament? It's beautiful. Baking that moisture out with a filament dryer or a heated dry box totally restores the plastic. You get buttery smooth extrusion, rock-solid layer bonds, and super crisp details. Seriously, don't ever throw away what you think is bad filament until you've tried drying it first.
Okay, Section 2, Slicer Secrets and Hacks. It's time to step into the digital matrix of your 3D printer.
Look, we all want our prints to finish faster, right? But randomly cranking up your machine speed slider is just asking for a mechanical failure. Instead, try these slicer adjustments. You can drastically slash your print times just by dropping your infill percentage. Honestly, most decorative prints only need about 10 to 15%. You can also print fewer outer walls or just bump up your layer height if you don't need super fine details. Oh, and for purely decorative stuff, the lightning infill pattern is an absolute hack. It supports the top layers perfectly while using the bare minimum amount of plastic inside.
Now, let's talk about handling overhangs. Traditional, blocky, standard supports are frankly a nightmare. They eat up so much extra plastic, add hours to your print, and you basically need to take a chisel to them afterward, which totally scars your model. But tree supports, oh man, they are fantastic. They generate these crazy organic-looking branch structures that reach over your model. They use way less filament, are wildly easy to just snap right off, and leave the surface looking incredibly clean. If you haven't switched your default to tree supports yet, you gotta do it today.
Let's zoom in on infill patterns for a second, because picking the right internal geometry completely changes how your part behaves physically. As we mentioned, Lightning is your go-to for maximum speed on decorative items. But say you're printing a functional bracket that's going to take a real physical load. You'll want gyroid or cubic patterns. Those create 3D structures that evenly distribute force in every direction. And if you're messing around with squishy TPU, give concentric infill a try. It gives you reliable walls but leaves plenty of room for maximum squishiness.
Okay, if you're like me and you really hate seeing those rough, visible lines on the flat top surfaces of your prints, I've got a hidden slicer gem for you. It's called the ironing setting. When you turn this on, your printer finishes the top layer and then basically drags the hot nozzle back over the entire surface, extruding just a tiny, microscopic amount of plastic. It literally melts and smooths all those tiny gaps together. The result? A remarkably clean, perfectly flat, professional-looking finish. It's almost like magic.
Listen up, because this might honestly be the most important mechanical lesson in this entire explainer. Part orientation. See, 3D prints are not uniformly strong in all directions. Because they're built layer by layer, they are fundamentally weakest along the Z-axis, right where those layers stack up. If you pull at them vertically, they'll snap right along those lines. The ultimate secret to making truly unbreakable functional prints is simply rotating your part on the virtual slicer bed. You want to make sure the physical stress will pull against the continuous solid plastic of the X and Y axes instead.
All right, let's jump into Section 3, Mastering Advanced Filaments. You've got the foundation down, so let's graduate past standard PLA.
I mean, standard PLA is rigid, it prints beautifully, but leave it in a hot car during the summer, yeah, it's going to melt into a puddle. When you need real-world durability, you've got some amazing options. HT-PLA, or high-temp PLA, boasts excellent heat resistance, perfect for outdoor items. Then there's PETG, which is basically the ultimate functional jack-of-all-trades. It's super strong, has great layer adhesion, and handles the elements like a champ. And of course, TPU. It isn't just flexible, it's practically indestructible, which makes it absolutely perfect for custom grips or compliant mechanisms.
But hold on a second. Before you go out and buy that fancy new spool, I've got to give you a vital warning. Your printer almost certainly came with a standard brass nozzle. Now, brass is fantastic for heat transfer with your basic plastics. However, some extremely abrasive filaments will literally chew a brass nozzle to shreds from the inside out in just a few hours. And we aren't just talking about carbon fiber here. Believe it or not, innocent-looking glow-in-the-dark filament is highly abrasive. If you want to print with these cool specialty materials, you absolutely must upgrade to a hardened steel nozzle first. Don't say I didn't warn you.
And speaking of those fiber composites, they actually have this incredible aesthetic superpower. Usually we think about adding carbon or glass fiber purely to make a part stiffer, right? But check this out. The matte, slightly rough texture of those fibers diffuses light in a way that completely hides those obvious 3D printed layer lines. It's wild. It ends up giving your final print this super premium, almost injection molded look right off the print bed. Let's wrap things up with Section 4, Prints to Level Up. We're talking about meta printing. Meta printing is just the incredibly satisfying process of using your printer to make tools for your own workspace. You don't need to drop hundreds of bucks at the hardware store to get organized. You can literally print these massive workflow upgrades today. Make yourself a custom ergonomic handle for your deburring tools so stripping off brims isn't a chore. Print a heavy-duty handle for a metal roofing scraper because, let's be real, sometimes you need actual metal to pop a stubborn print off the bed. You can print stackable hex bins for all that purge waste, or go all out and print an entire open-source organization ecosystem like Gridfinity or Multiboard and turn your total chaos into absolute order. And just like that, we've hit the end of our deep dive. So, equipped with all these pro tricks and maybe a few newly customized tools of your own, what amazing creation are you going to print next? Think about it. You now know exactly how to defeat bad bed adhesion, you've got the slicer secrets to totally optimize your speed and strength, and you know exactly when to reach for those high-performance materials. The only limit now is whatever you can imagine.